Welcome to this edition of Video Explosion. I'm your host, Patrick Farrell, with my DJ Finesse.
What's up, y'all? DJ Finesse in the house. Video Explosion. We getting busy today.
93. We're live here at Soho Records with Carol Cooper, and she's basically going to give us the background of the record company. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Soho Sounds is a small custom label with a manufacturing and distribution deal through Sony International. We have only truly been in fully operational existence for about a year. I came to Soho Sounds from Columbia Records, where I was National Director of Black Music A&R, and I came in February of '92, at the end of February '92. The basic idea here at Soho Sounds is that we are a street music label, by which I mean that we do not make records or sign artists who have to have radio in order to be heard and in order to be a success. We try to emphasize music that is danceable and music that can survive on club play and on the support of DJs. But since reggae is danceable and played in clubs, since hip-hop is danceable and played in clubs, since underground house is danceable and played in clubs, all of this qualifies as street music by our definition. The advantages, I think, for my being here at Soho as opposed to being back at a major like Columbia is that I have a lot more freedom in terms of what I sign, a lot more freedom in terms of artistic control over what happens to the acts once they come here. In terms of marketing and artist development, I can control and have input into all aspects of that here at Soho, whereas at Columbia, all I could do was A&R. I could only sign the acts. After the acts came into the company and after the music was finished, then the marketing departments, the publicity departments, the promotion departments kind of took over. And while all of that support is invaluable and helps to make multi-platinum records, at this particular point in my career, I find it more interesting to be more hands-on in terms of many more aspects of the recording process and in the process of developing a career. Soho Sounds is owned by a Spanish language music company, which is RMM Records and Tapes. They've been in existence for about 6 years. They do all of the yearly Madison Square Garden sellout salsa concerts. They handle Tito Puente, they handle Celia Cruz. And the reason why they decided to start an English language street division, which is Soho Sounds, is because they did not feel that the only people who should be having success in the street market should be Anglo mainstream labels. RCA, CBS, or rather Sony at this point, after the Japanese buyout, and the other majors, they have country divisions, they have Spanish divisions. But this is the first time that a Spanish company has decided to cross the other way and start an English language street division. And I'm helping them do that.
I see. And one of the artists that you're starting off is Lord Ishawn as well, too. Right?
Yes, yes. Ishawn is an interesting case because much the way that Cypress Hill was embraced by the hip-hop community without regard for the fact that they are, Latino culturally and ethnically, I think that Ishawn, if you hear him, is going to sound like a straight-up hip-hop artist regardless of whether or not you know in advance that he's Latino. Right. I like that because, as everyone remembers, back in the early days of hip-hop in the late 70s and early 80s, the music that was coming out of the South Bronx, out of the playgrounds and out of disco fever was being made by blacks and Latinos at that point in time. And the two communities were a lot closer at that time than they are now. And I tend to blame that politically on a very divisive government in the tri-state area, particularly out of New York, which had as its own agenda dividing the black and Latino communities so that their power base would be weakened. I think that now that we have Dinkins as mayor and people are more conscious of the Pan-African ties between the Haitian populations, the Jamaican populations, the Dominican and Puerto Rican populations, and the Black American populations, we realize in unity there is strength.
Right, exactly.
And, part of what Soho Sounds wants to do is strengthen that unity.
Okay. Finesse?
Could you tell our viewers about some of the other artists that Soho is working with currently?
Soho Sounds has a dance division or an underground house division as well as a hip-hop division. Our hip-hop artists are pure hip-hop artists. They're not trying to do a lot of different things. So our hip-hop roster, like Lord Ishawn, he will be doing rap music. He will not be trying to do dance one day and then trying to do freestyle another day. Our dance roster does dance music. They are not skipping around either. So we have Orchestra 7, which is the project of a producer by the name of Roger S., who had a big hit about a year ago with a record called Love Dancing, which was really, really big in the underground house world. And he did an entire album for us, which is his concept, melding swing house or jazz house with some Latin elements and some even, blues and acoustic elements. And we find that very interesting. There's one song on that album called Love in D Minor, which is almost entirely acoustic. You have live percussion, live bass, live keyboards, and live horns, which I think is unique in house music. Everybody thinks that house music is just a synthesizer and a drum machine, and that's it. But I think that house music can be more than that. I think that the underground, the kids out in Brooklyn, the kids out in the Bronx, the kids out in Queens who have been into this music for 10 years or more, they know that it can be more. And therefore, the young producers today are putting more live instruments into house music, and they're treating it as an evolving art form, and that's how we look at it. We also have a young Latin division called Soho Latino for the young second and third generation Puerto Rican, Dominican, Cuban youngsters who maybe don't speak Spanish anymore because they've spent all their lives in this country, who grew up with rap, who grew up with dance music, and who don't really feel connected to their root music, which is Afro-Caribbean music. A lot of people don't realize that salsa, the kind of music that Tito Puente and Celia Cruz does, is 80% derived from African music and African religious music. And we feel that that's a tradition that deserves to be maintained the same way that gospel deserves to be maintained, the same way that blues deserves to be maintained. These are the root musics that have a lot to do with why, black people survived in this country for 200 years. And I think that, the fact that RMM, our parent company, the parent company of Soho Sounds, is a salsa music company, keeping alive the Afro-Yoruba, Afro-Latin traditions of that came out of Cuba, and that were brought with the slave population from Africa to Cuba and to the Dominican Republic is very, very important. And I don't think that the young 14, 15, 19, 20-year-old Latinos who, because they are in this country and because the media in this country tries to devalue people's root cultures, particularly if they are African-derived root cultures, I don't think they should be deprived of their tradition. And one of the things we're trying to do is trying to bring them back to the music that their parents and their grandparents may have loved. Okay. And so we have India, who is a young girl who once had a pop music recording deal with Jelly Bean Benitez at Warner Brothers Records. We brought her to record for us with Eddie Palmieri, who is known as the king of Latin keyboards and who wrote and produced a Spanish language salsa album for her, which may be nominated for a Grammy this year. We took Mark Anthony, who is a young singer who had a recording deal with Atlantic Records with Little Louis Vega doing house music, and now he's recording with Sergio George doing a salsa album that also brings him back to those roots. So, Soho Sounds is doing a lot of things for a small label, and I think that all of these things are based in our belief that culture and trying to maintain a link between the traditions of our parents and the traditions of the youth is important. And we don't want a future where there's only youth music and all of the root musics die. And we don't want a future where there's only the root music and all the youth music dies. We believe that the two things should coexist.
Okay. If you're watching our show right now, how would they get in contact with you? Is there a number that you can give out right now?
Soho Sounds is down on Lower Broadway. We are in the offices of our parent company, which is RMM Records and Tapes, and we are reachable through our parent company, which is RMM. Our number is 925-2828. People should be aware that we do not operate with anywhere near the financing that a Warner Brothers or an RCA would have. We are a small independent label. However, we're working very hard for our acts, and if someone has talent and they want an open ear, they should consider coming to us. We won't be able to give you a lot of money, but we'll give you our time and our attention and, you know, try to make something happen for you.
Okay, thank you for those vital information about Soho Records. Finesse, you want to roll to the next video? That was it?
Here we go. We're going to our next video. Red Hot Lover Tone on Video Explosion. Check it out.
Welcome back to Video Explosion. And here's one of the artists on the Soho Records, Lord Ishawn, right here live with us on Video Explosion. Welcome to the show.
Nice to be here.
Welcome to the show, man.
So why don't you give our audience a little flavor about yourself and where you're from, how old you are, and how'd you get started?
My age is 24, 23 really. Gonna be 24 in March. Down from the Boogie Down Bronx on Fordham Road. And, you know, I just started listening to all these rap acts back in the days, Grandmaster Flash, Treacherous 3, all of that. Decided I just want to start kicking some flavor for myself. Get out there and get my name recognized.
Okay. How was it putting your first video out, microphone check? How was that?
It was kind of scary. I mean, we had to do it like 1,500 times over and over until we get it right. But it was kind of, the experience was different.
Okay.
What kind of style do you have for our viewers who are getting to know you for the first time? What can they expect from Lord Ishawn?
My styles vary, whether it be hard or tribalistic or just regular party rhymes. I just mainly just do it all if I can. That's about it.
And who's some of your favorite artists, types of music? Who do you like to listen to?
All types that got flavor. Irby and Rakim, Tribe Called Quest, Black Sheep. You know, mainly on the tribal flow. Not too much of that gangster stuff.
All right, before we roll to your video, why don't you give the viewers a little freestyle?
My style's irrelevant, kicking shit like a madman. You call me Hannibal Smith, I always had a battle plan. Come on, bring them on, yo, whatever. Damn, I love it when my plan comes together. You stepped on stage, grabbed a mic, made a mistake. I kill more rappers than a maniac at Crystal Lake without a hockey mask. You can never last. When you hear Ishawn, damn, you better make a dash quick. Head for the exit or the fire door. Damn, I'm cooking now. Fuck it, I'm getting raw. Don't try to run, cause I can stomp out your whole block. My rhymes is hollow point, my mic's my fucking Glock. Pop, 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 that's a shot from an outlaw. Act like you know, forget what you fucking saw. But right about now, Ishawn's on the killer mode. You stick the slow song cause you're at the end of your road.
Video Explosion, y'all. Check it
rap,
out, his new
Lord
video.
Ishawn.
Lord Ishawn on Video Explosion. Let's roll to this video.
Microphone check.
Sure.
Welcome back. We're here still hanging out at Soho Records with Lord Ishawn. One of the questions everybody's probably want to answer, you know, or ask you, when you're on stage, because, you know, once they see someone like yourself, you're Hispanic, oh no, this is another Hispanic brother's going to rap in Spanish. What can they expect from you, Lord Ishawn and the Bronx Outlaws?
I'll tell you one thing, none of that Spanish shit. I'll be frank, I mean, the first thing I do is go out there on stage, and if it's like a Brooklyn crowd or I see if it's a rough crowd, I tell them straight off the back, I mean, don't judge a book by its cover. Put it like that. I don't speak Spanish, I can't understand it, but I just flow streetwise and just give the people what they want. They don't like it, move on.
That's right.
Simple as that.
Okay, because, you know, everybody's still like, well, the West Coast and the East Coast Hispanic rappers, I mean, what's the difference?
Spanish rappers and West Coast they're Spanish, but they're gangsters and they're all Mexicans and Cubans, which I ain't got no beef with that, but they kind of discriminate Puerto Ricans. They feel like we're not in the Latin race, we're on a separate boat. So it's just time for Puerto Ricans to make their own mark and just leave all that behind. That's about it.
And what kind of flavor could we expect from the album?
Man, they got so many different flavor tracks on there. It's hard, tribalistic, stuff that'll really dwell your mind and just have you thinking a couple. There's one track on there, matter of fact, for this is called So What If I'm Puerto Rican? That should just speak for itself and to everybody, not to judge face.
And your production crew, could you tell viewers about who you work with?
Right now I'm working with Keith Cash, Mark Bass. We're not too sure yet, but DJ Muggs from Cypress Hill might be coming in to do 2 tracks on it, but we're not too sure about that. So right now it's just them, Keith Cash and Mark Bass.
All right, cool.
All right. Lord Ishawn, check it out. We're in a brand new year, it's 93. There's a younger viewer out there watching, and he wants to break into the business. What positive message can you tell that
One, never give up, because this business is shady, like Q-Tip said. It is mad shady. So never give up. Be true to your game. Just do what you got to do. Be safe and smart for 93. That's all.
Well said. All right. Once again, I'm your host, Patrick Farrell, DJ Finesse, Lord Ishawn in 93 for Video Explosion. Peace, y'all.
See you next time.